you mean something like the idea, like we have character achievements, or are you talking like maybe guild achievements?
What I mean is, you know, you can earn all sorts of titles and gear for your character for what you do, but if your guild accomplishes something significant past level 90 or such, that you can get a title that only your guild members would earn, and that other players would have to earn when their guild reaches that goal. Rather than just for you, it's because your guild accomplished something significant rather than just you as a character.
Yeah, we can take a look at stuff like that. There's a couple difficulties there, such as what happens when someone joins the guild after you've already obtained that. Do they get grandfathered into it? Do they have to re-earn it again? These are some things we've talked about doing when we did the achievement system, if we could do guild-based achievements. So there's some hurdles we'd have to, you know, overcome there, but yeah, it sounds like a cool idea, and we'll give it some more thought.
One of the things that is really slow on a lot of raids is if you've got people with all accounts get people in. What do you think about either extending the timers on chests so they don't decay so fast, being able to relock them, do stuff in that regard so that, you know, you're not hitting a speed bump saying, okay, somebody dropped the raid, get somebody else in to loot that piece, and we're not spending so much time. And if we could do it at the end of the raid, no big deal. You know, it's just it's disruptive to do it right in the middle.
Make the mark period.
Yeah, this question came up a little bit earlier, and we agree. We have no problem with giving you some more flexibility there so that dealing with loot doesn't interrupt your raid. There's a couple different ways we can solve that problem. We've talked about either lengthening chest timers or grouping the loot into some kind of master chest at the end. Mike mentioned, you know, we're trying to make more items heirlooms so that you can throw it out there and deal with it later. So there's a couple different solutions, and we hear that that's one of the concerns. So we'll regroup after this and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, I play an assassin, and before the stat change revamp, he came out with a nasty stool. He is someone who had really great god abilities and gave me strength and intelligence, which I needed both. Then you did the stat changes, and now I have a god that gives me good abilities, but the stats don't fit my class. Is there any way you can make it so the god pets give you what your major stat is? You're a healer, here's some wisdom. You're a fighter, here's some strength. Because these are gods, after all. They should be able to give me what I need.
We can definitely discuss that when we get back. And when we say that, we really mean we will discuss it.
One very quick question. Level 90 guild on Luke and Lear server. We're level 90 guild, but we keep accumulating massive amounts of status every week for the guild, but it doesn't go anywhere. Could it possibly roll into the escrow account?
Okay, it's going to sound weird, but could you repeat the question? Because there was birds flying in the background and we all got distracted.
We were like, oh, pretty birds.
I saw the birds earlier. Okay.
They were like, oh, what did he say?
We're on Luke and Lear server, Lost Coast Privateers, level 90 guild. We accumulate, when we go and raid, we accumulate status individually and a portion of that, and also trade skilling, because we have a lot of trade skillers. A portion of that status is supposed to roll to the guild, but of course it's a level 90 guild. Is there any way that excess status that's no longer leveling the guild could go into our escrow account?
Yes.
We've talked about this before, and the way that the system really works, your guild's earning a percentage of the status that you have. So it's kind of like when you're at a max level, you don't bank your you don't bank your XP, you know, when you're at max level. So it's kind of the same concept. I mean, we can talk about it, but it would probably make status really trivial. Because right now, people don't really have a big problem earning status, and I'm just afraid if that were to happen, then you'd have so much banked up that it would really off-balance all the prices and things we set on amenities and rent upkeep and that sort of thing. So, you know, we'll talk about it, but probably not, you know, because it's probably going to affect a lot of things if we do that.
Fair enough. I understand game balance. Second thing is, we don't have any forums here. we don't have any forums here to meet people from our own servers. Could we, you know, we're from Luke and Lear. Anybody from Luke and Lear, come talk to us. We want to meet you. But other people probably feel the same way.
Table 10.
Yeah, that's really good feedback. There was a panel earlier just for fanfare feedback, and my wife was in on that. I'll make sure she knows about that suggestion because that would be a really good idea.
We also have those little tents. I see some of you have them up, but they're kind of hard to see when you walk in here and you're trying to find where it is. It's a long walk. So, trying maybe something taller, yeah. Actually, I said him first. Oh, go ahead.
Hey, how you doing? Spindle from Maybe here. One of the things I was wondering about is I've noticed that a lot of the cloaks have gone through and actually been turned into tapestries. Are there any plans in the future to actually be able to do that to guild cloaks? Because that actually would be really cool to be able to hang in our hall and be able to actually have a tapestry for a guild cloak in the hall.
Go ahead.
I'm done.
So, actually, this is something that we talked about doing when we first put out guild halls, and we've been stringing it out. I think it's done. We've been saying that for a little while. I know we've got the art done. I think we've got the code done. I think it just needs to be put out there in QA'd and made sure it's all working correctly. But yeah, we agree. So the idea, so guild hall and tapestries. We want to see your guild hall logo and maybe appearing on other things too. So yeah, when we get back, we'll make sure that's tidied up and get it out there.
Can we get a switch on our bags that alphabetizes the contents when you open the bag?
So bags have gotten really big and people carry around all sorts of stuff. We've had all sorts of UI upgrades going in lately, and one thing we want to do, and one thing that's on the list, is definitely make it easier to go through your bags, go through and find stuff. I know we've been looking at things like maybe storing mounts, different kinds of currencies, maybe cosmetic pets in their own little storage containers eventually. So we've got lots of ideas about how we might improve your inventory and make less of a mini game of figuring out where the heck you put that piece of food you want to eat right now. So that definitely is in the cards in the future, as soon as we get a little bit of time to get that done.
Okay, I got two questions. I'm Ulrich from Nectulos. First question is, I know they talked about trying to have a Chronobot idea earlier on, and that was shot down because of exploits. Can we have an amenity in the guild halls for Chronomage?
Someone suggested this earlier too. I think it's there's no reason we couldn't. We'll talk about doing that. It's one of those things that right now leads you to a city, and that having it in your guild hall would be another thing to keep you from going to the city. But we very well might do it. We'll look into that.
Okay. Second question is from one of my guildies that if I don't get it answered, I'm going to be shot. Don't answer it. Thanks. What we've got is she's big into the house decorating and the things, and she's concerned that the count from the moving crate goes into the house count for numbers. I wasn't here earlier.
Yeah, this came up in the trade skill and housing panel as well, and so we have some ideas for how we can improve that. Since Dave did the awesome house layout thing, it makes it really easy for you to, swap items for holiday events and that sort of thing. And you typically want to store those items in your moving crate when you're not using them. So, one of the things we were talking about doing is putting an item limit, a separate item limit on the moving crate of say your house has 500 items, put a 500 item limit on the crate. That way you don't get unlimited storage, but you can have a full swap of house items if you want and give you that flexibility to use the new house layout system to decorate and that sort of thing.
I was wondering if it'd be possible to add like a recipe for putting Caesar-esque statues in the game for like your guild halls for your characters, like you could have a guardian statue in your guild hall, like one of those Akasha trolls in Gook.